What I've experienced is all disciplines, you need to think differently, but you need to be able to translate. And I think the excitement of university and industry with business is that you're taking it and potentially putting it together for solutions for customers, for what they need, but you've got to hear them first. So it's real important. It's called FCAT, and what happens is there's probably about 100 to 150 people internally, globally, and we have a team here in Ireland, we have a team in India, and throughout the US, where we literally, we have a robotics area, we have the design thinking school, many of you may know in Stanford, we created our own process design world, and we look at new and innovative ways of doing things, but we bring in the customer, we whiteboard with them, we find out what they're interested in, what they need. And remember, you have your existing customers, and then you have your future customers. And it's real important to make sure that you have that full spectrum of ideas and thoughts.
There was a time when Bell Labs always had a foot in the marketplace. And I think that there's been a period of time where that hasn't been so strong recently. And so I was asked to come back in and try to reestablish that in not selling to entrepreneurs, but actually creating something new as a part of our Entrepreneur in Residence program. And so that involves getting involved with what other people are doing. We have to be more open to having a conversation. We can't just go hide in a room and come up with something and walk out and go, isn't this wonderful? It has to be relevant. And for that, it needs to be open.
It's incredibly important, and maybe just to set a little bit of context in all of this, at the earlier panel this morning we heard about all the great stuff that's going on at the earlier stages in the research labs and so on, and the new discoveries that are coming there, right? And we heard about, you know, some of those discoveries can be blue skies and some of those can be very much directed, right? What we're looking at here now is, you know, with industry getting close to it, it's how that innovation gets into use. And critically, you know, typically they come in two different formats. Just like you've got your blue skies and you've got your impact directed research, you know, in innovation it's got your incremental innovation and you've got your disruptive innovation that's going to change things. And I think it's very important for well-established organizations that are on top of the incremental innovation agenda at all times. And in fact, you know, the best ones will have it well tied down in-house, right? But it's equally important for those same corporations to be ready for that disruptive innovation and know what's going on just outside the fold, or something that they can't foster in-house, a way that can be fostered outside of the main operation, with a view that they might bring it in-house later on again. And that's where the importance of the new venturing approach comes into play. And what you heard this morning from Nora, that's very much a disruptive innovation. None of the particular partners she's talking with at the present time are capable of doing what she's doing. This is going to be a game changer for many of those companies in terms of how they discover, how they prepare their manufacturing plan for new peptides and new products. So it's that disruption that's outside that's so important to foster. It couldn't happen inside any of those large companies either. It takes somebody who's bringing together that multidisciplinarity and also a connection of other things around the edge, right? Which is the opportunity in the marketplace. The opportunity needs to be big enough. It needs to be something that is ready for adoption. Bringing together a piece of technology that actually works with that, so it's a new disruptive technology. And then, you know, the harder things to get right, but the softer elements of the right team with the right kind of passion and the right kind of mix of skill sets to bring it forward. So they're all critical again to the new venturing thing. So there is a you know, there is two broadly ways of doing this, and that is that kind of technology transfer to aid the incremental innovation agenda of big organizations, and then there is the new venturing approach. And it is important for industry to be involved in both of those at all times.
It's hard to put a price tag on an entire community coming together for a particular purpose, and you know, you have, I don't know if y'all are familiar with this term, the PayPal mafia or the eBay mafia, or these are familial ecosystems where there are deals done in between everyone, and honestly it adds strength to the Bay Area in serious ways. Ireland actually has this as a part of its culture already, where you have the relationship between people that produces better outcomes. And it's quite favorable in how it acts. I believe, personally, I think it's more culturally relevant as opposed to, let's say, capital relevant. And I think you can produce perhaps longer term impact than just these temporal deals. And honestly, that's what attracts me to this place, is that there are deeper roots than just this kind of temporal capital impact. And I think that as a culture or as a community, you can do that here that is very difficult to replicate in other places.
Innovation is technology, but it's also innovative ways of doing things. So you talked about external disruptors, which are really, really important to understand. But you also potentially need internal disruptors. Sometimes that goes well in an organization, sometimes it doesn't. But I think what it is just always looking at how you do things, to validate or modify whether you are meeting the demands of your customers. And so I arrived here in Ireland in early September to be here for about 6 months, to manage the Irish organization, and also the India and China organization. We have ops and technology in those areas. And to really try to continue to link up the capital, the human capital, and intellectual property we have across the globe to bring the best that we can to our customers.